Ready, man?
Most definitely, my boy.
Gonna get this game of chess in.
Oh, yeah.
I ain't really too seasoned in it, so
Well,
I don't know how that's gonna go.
I'm aware. I'm letting you know now how
We gonna see, man. We gonna see. Had to do a little studying myself.
Yeah.
Watch the old head get it in, man.
Oh, yeah. I hope you watch good enough. You ain't never seen me, though, huh?
Nah, I ain't saying you on the board.
Yeah, that's what you should have been watching.
We finna see now. We finna see now, man. We finna see now.
Let you pick your side, man.
Alright, get it. Alright, man, you ready? Let's begin, man. What's up, man? How you feeling?
Doing good.
How
brother.
you feeling, man?
Blessed,
How you
man.
feeling? We got Zevin the legend, man.
That's right.
That's right, man. That's right. So this is something that I call first world problem. And like my whole thing is, like, you know, I like to put people in a better position, but within that, I like to have a dialogue with people.
Okay.
And within that dialogue, just uncover like what made you do this, like where did you get this inspiration from, who did you get this inspiration from, and things like that.
Okay.
So yeah, man, I don't know what episode this is,
Yeah.
but we're gonna cap off a new season, man, and just tell the people who you is and what you do.
Well, the best way I like to describe myself is, you talking about like as an artist?
Just artists in general, man, or however you want to flow.
I love to say that I'm everything you think I'm not, and I'm nothing what you believe.
Right.
And the reason why I say that is because, like, the way my brain works, I don't like to be put in any type of category or box in any form or fashion. So I feel like I'm just the epitome of like evolution. You know what I mean? So musically, I think that's a clear reflection of how I live my day-to-day life. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man, let's touch on the music. Man. Like, I want to ask you personally, because I don't think I've ever asked you this, like, or maybe I have, but how long have you been recording music? Like, how long have you been doing it?
Man, recording music. 13 years, bro. 13
That's a minute,
years.
man. That's a minute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Started back in 2008, yeah. 13, coming up on 14. Yeah.
Man, I was
Yeah,
in the Pokemon and all that back then, man.
Yeah, we still did that too, but man, I developed a strong passion for music the moment that I heard myself on the playback from recording.
Right.
And like I say, we played our first song in front of like a group of my daddy and all of his friends and stuff like that, and just to see their reaction, it was, you know, it was the battery in my back, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I might be alright at this music, man, you know?
So describe your type of style of music. Like, what do you bring to the table on the music scene?
Man, genuineness, honesty. I don't feel like sonically it's a particular sound, but in each and every way that I deliver, it's always gonna come from a raw place.
Right.
Yeah, and mostly gonna be, you know, positive, uplifting.
Absolutely.
You know, just depend on how I feel at that moment. That's why I say, hey, it's hard for me to really just define, you know, exactly what it is I do, but I like to say that I'm, you know, pretty positive for the most part. Yeah.
So like usually people, the reason they either have a reason or it's just more so inspiration. So I'm gonna ask you, what inspires you? What drives you to get up? What drives you to just get on the track? Like what inspires you?
What inspires me? That's a deep question, man. Life in itself, man. Just different things I encounter, like from relationships to different music artists that I study, just people in general, life itself. I try to draw inspiration from everything that's living and breathing around me at all times, man. So, but it's just far as like music artists, I can say for sure, the first artist that I was drawn to that got me interested in music was Wayne. Yeah, most definitely.
Was it like more? Was you more so catered to the mixtapes or the album?
It was the mixtapes. Hearing his wordplay, that was amazing to me. How he was putting words together. You know what I mean? it was special. So that's what got me to look at it in a form to where it's like I wanted to try my take at it, you know, seeing it how he presented himself, you know. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, like usually I ain't get into rap, like I want to say it was like more so towards 8th grade. Yeah. 8th grade, 9th grade, like right before I reached that adolescence years, man. And I was more so drawn to the Wayne. Yeah. But like I was more so drawn to the Kanye's, the Drake's, and things like that. So I'm gonna ask you, as far as inspiration goes, give me, it ain't gotta be necessarily somebody from Mississippi and things like that, but give me an artist that a lot of people may not know, or a lot of people may not have gravitated to, that inspires you.
Right now?
Yeah, right now.
Smino.
Okay.
Smino. Yes.
Okay. Tell the people who that is who don't know.
Smino, oh, he's an artist. I think he's based out of St. Louis, Missouri.
Right.
And just as far as, like I say, that same element that Wayne has as far as the unpredictability with wordplay, I feel like he embodies that well. Extremely different dude.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Smino dope, man. That's a dope artist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard the name, but I ain't never really just dove deep into that.
Yeah.
In that catalog. So talk about like the people that don't know you from Brookhaven, Mississippi. You was born and raised there?
Facts.
Okay. So talk about that influence, that those adolescent years that brought you up around that music scene. Talk about how that affected you. Like musically, spiritually, physically, mentally, like how did that affect you as a man?
Just coming up in that Brookhaven area.
Right.
Well, I'm a very like what you call like an introverted type of person.
Right.
So I mean, I was out in the world, you know, just dealing with normal activities like from sports to school, different things like that. But for the most part, I spent a lot of time to myself thinking.
Right.
And I think once you spend enough time with yourself, you will understand what it is that you're supposed to do. And just naturally with that time, I started creating. You know, at first it was drawing and coloring, like different things, like with art. And then that art just transferred over into words. And I feel like, you know, like I was saying earlier, man, just life itself, I'm inspired by life itself. So in that area, bits and pieces of everything. Because I mean, I lived in some of the roughest neighborhoods, and I lived in some of the most, I guess you could call like upscale areas. So I got a taste of different walks of life, and my perspective is pretty broad when it comes to like just humans, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like you a few projects in. So what is the process of you coming up with a project? It can be, you can give me the process of you coming up with a song, but a project in particular, what gives you that drive? What gives you like, okay, and is this a moment in time in my life that I need to talk about? Is it something that I dealt with in the past? Like, what do you dive into?
It's usually a producer, man.
Right.
When I come across a producer with a particular sound, I want every beat he ever made.
Oh yeah, man. Introduce you to that sound, man.
Yeah, I want everything that he has ever made, and like whether it's 5 or 5,000, I want to create something to each and every one of like his, you know, his productions, because it's hard to say, but to translate it, it's like producers have certain emotions and stories, but without saying one word. That's what I feel like their production entails. So naturally I hear it, and it pulls emotions that I couldn't have ever even thought about by myself. It was that sound that drew that. So as far as like coming up with projects, man, it's based on production for me. Production is the base of it.
Well, speaking of production, man, this can be a reach out. This can be a reach out to, like, you don't know who listening, you don't know who watching. So you can give me 2 or 3 or 5 or 10.
Okay.
Give me your dream producers that you feel like, okay, if I get a song with them, it's gonna be legendary.
Kanye West for sure. That's off top. You gotta give me time to process. Kanye,
it's
man.
It's a difficult question, man.
His production is insane. I love the way. I love the sound that Drake and 40 produced. So I like 40 as a producer, but I say for sure Kanye. As far as like with the sampling,
absolutely,
I love Kanye, man. It's many others, man. But right now, I'm gonna go with that Kanye.
Yeah, because he brings that, like, especially with his Donda experience, he brings, like, Lil Yachty, for example, the way he flowed on the album, he brings something out of you.
Right.
And I feel like that'll be the perfect combination.
Oh, don't let me forget. Pharrell. That's another
Neptune,
one.
yeah.
Man, I love the work
I can see it now. I
Yeah.
can see it. I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, that type of influence in which they kind of cut from the same cloth.
Right.
Like them two, especially like the type of music they make, they more so experimental with their sound.
Yes.
So I'm gonna ask you more so about that. Like, what's your take on experimenting with different sounds, and have you done that?
Yes,
and
sir.
do you plan on doing that?
Forever. I told you, man, life is forever the same, but it's always different aspects that stand out more than another. So it's always changing in its own right. And I love to do that musically.
Right.
I never want to come across to where you can say, oh yeah, this is Evan's sound. I know this is gonna work for him. Like, I want you to be taken aback every time I create a project. Like, dang, I wasn't expecting it, but it grew on me. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I have like experienced that as far as the music I've heard from you. So like you just gave the people, and I'm pretty sure they'll dive into it with that. So like, speaking of the music, I'm gonna ask you similar to the producer question.
Yeah.
You can give me however many artists you want. What is your dream collab?
My dream collab. Oh my goodness, you asked tough questions, man.
You gotta ask every artist this, man, because you never know, anybody can be listening.
So as far as dream, is that like limitless, or is it like people that's alive?
It can be both. It can be both. It can be both.
Just because of mindset and legacy, for sure I would love to work with Nipsey.
Absolutely.
Just the brilliance in his mindset and his aura. I would love to spend time with him. And any artist that I'm going to name, I would rather build a genuine relationship with before we dove into working on music. I actually like to know who they are and how they feel about life before music happens. So Nipsey is one interesting person I would have loved to meet and work with. Of course, Jay-Z. Man, Currency. I love Currency. Yes, sir. Oh man, the greatest, Michael Jackson. I would have loved to see how that'll work. Now
that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting, man.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
I mean, the list will go on forever, but just anybody who was extremely well at what they done and different, man. I'm into people that's different, original people. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any? Like, I know Michael Jackson more so pop, but do you have any R&B guys out there that you haven't collabed with that you would like to? Like girls or guys?
I love Ari Lennox. I like SZA a lot too. Who else is it? Because I'm listening to more R&B these days.
I want the Queen, man. I can see you and Lauryn Hill doing something.
Man,
it's all about getting her out and just getting her to hear the records.
Yes.
That'll be dope.
Erykah Badu.
Absolutely.
Man, I like The Weeknd too. Like him. His voice. It'd have to be the right production. I'd love to do something with Weeknd. Man, yeah. It's a lot of artists, man. It's a lot of artists.
Yeah. So like, I'm gonna ask you, what's your take on the current state of music today? What's your take on that?
Okay, well, this was an off-camera discussion we was having. Like, I think it's perfect because music is accepted in any type of form. We may not agree with what may be popular at the time, but I feel like if the music is being consistently pushed, any style, any age, any way, like, music is actually having a fair chance to be heard and received by the masses. So I like it, man. I think it's open for anything, for anybody. I think it's fair. Like, back in the days, you had to be from a certain region or know a certain few list of people in the industry. But I think these days you can just have something special and you believe in it enough and you push it and it'll work out, Right. So I love it.
Right. Like just me personally, I feel like music is in good hands. Like it had that rocky road in like 15, 16.
Yeah.
But we were just getting introduced to new sounds. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And I feel like a lot of people want to be musicians. But personally, I feel like some people may force that on the world, in which I always feel like if you feel like you got something to say, express it.
Right.
But if you feel like you have nothing to say and you know what you might say might be detriment to the other people around you, then sometimes it's maybe just to keep quiet on what you're doing. And like there has been a growing conversation. Not necessarily growing, but a growing conversation about certain people about who's the best. About who's the best. And me on the outside looking in, like I probably can classify myself as an outsider in a way. In a way, I'm not a musician, but I'm in the game. I handle the business side of things, but I also have an ear, and that's something I take with pride. I take my ear game and what I hear, because music is subjective. And I can have an opinion on your music, or just speaking about anybody in general. I can have an opinion on your music, and I might think it's ass. I might think it's trash. I might think it's trash music. But you might have someone closer to another individual and might feel like the music is good. So like, what is your take on the quality and the quantity of music? And if your ear tells you like, okay, this is not a good song. Let's say you know this person.
Okay.
How would you try to open up that dialogue to that person, or would you just let them go on with their career with that?
It just depends on who you're dealing with. Like, I'm aware and smart enough to know people. It's almost like a coach. You know, there's certain players you can be a little more aggressive with, and there's more players you'll have to be more conservative with. I mean, it's just about knowing people. But honestly, I never lie. I never tell somebody I love something and I don't. Most of the times, if I disagree, I'll be quiet. But if I'm ever forced to speak brutally about my honest opinion, I never have a problem telling somebody how I feel, you know. And it's up to that individual to take that and run with it, or take that and ignore it, you know. But it's the truth. Yeah.
That's something you can't escape. You can't escape the truth.
Yeah.
You can't escape the truth. And speaking on that growing debate, like I told you before, I'm always in Brookhaven. I got a family out there. You was born and raised, well, I was born in Brookhaven too, King Dog. So I can say that. But like, there has been a growing debate, and it's probably the last time publicly, not even public, because I think I spoke on this a while back, about who's the best and this and that. And just my opinion on, like, I'm gonna ask you, like, I'm not gonna get deep into the question, I'm gonna just ask you what's your opinion on it. But like, my perspective, that type of talk doesn't need to be had, like, it doesn't need to be had for as far as a small town perspective. And like, what I mean by that, it's the overall goal in which we're trying to reach. People not gonna look back and be like, who's the best rapper out of Brookhaven? They're gonna look back, who put the city on, who's doing this. If I got a big promoter coming from New York, who the best out of Mississippi that I know I can put on this stage and rock the crowd? And I feel like you was a firm example of that, Casino and Monte. And like, I always feel like that as far as that. And like, I tip my hat off to situations like that. Like, I tip my hat off, and I know the type of quality that y'all bring. Because I've been diving in Casino a little lately, because I know we had that conversation. I've been diving this catalog a little lately. So I feel like that type of quality needs to be more, like, not necessarily a small town recognition, because you always hear people like, okay, I gotta get out and to succeed. But I feel like the conversation needs to be shifted about certain things. So what's your take on that? Like, how you feel about that?
Honestly, man, I've spent so much time with the majority of like local artists, to where, like I told you earlier, man, I have a strong sense of who everyone is. And most people spend too much time focusing on things that have no significance at all, especially towards progressing not only themselves but the entire like culture of this music. if you want to use your brain and you think about all of the people who are effective on the main level, all of these people put themselves in position, but they are always smart enough to know that it's bigger than them.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
The more you focus on yourself screaming me, you push people away. No one wants to work with you. No one wants to offer you any type of assistance because you basically screaming for yourself. You don't want help. You don't want any type of assistance along the journey. So, like I say, man, I'm always open for a conversation with anybody.
Oh yeah, that's always a need for
anybody.
dialogue.
And I think we as people need to do that more. We need to have more conversations and this get away from this new way of thinking with the internet, thinking that putting posts up and speaking on certain things subliminally or putting it in your music, that's not really making a statement. You know, if you really want to have something to say and you can actually call a person, do that.
Right.
Anything else is not respected ever.
Absolutely.
Not in my book ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's basically the term. That's basically the terms of which everything should be grounded on is respect.
Mm-hmm.
That type of respect level, and because like me, if I know you,
Mm-hmm.
so speaking
Right,
of
right.
being consistent, speaking of the quality, and speaking of we talking about setting the foundation,
Mm-hmm.
and like I like to use that word a lot, and I like to create moments. That's one thing I like to do, and positive moments, of course.
Right.
So man, I think it's time, bro. Like I think it's time, man. I feel like we've been holding certain things off for weeks.
Yeah.
The conversation was had a while back, but I always feel like God's timing is perfect.
That's it.
I always feel like God's timing is perfect, man. And like, I just want to thank you,
Mhm.
like, for believing in what I'm doing, to which we can merge that together and form a new partnership.
I have to shake your hand.
Absolutely, man.
Hey,
Absolutely.
The feeling is mutual, man. Just as much as you appreciate it, I'm gonna show you through the work ethic and what we do on how much I appreciate the opportunity to have somebody that sees what I see, and not only that, but sees more and has the same passion and work ethic to take what we think in our brains to a point where we're gonna manifest it into reality, and we're gonna show the world how it's supposed to be done.
Absolutely, man.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. And I very much believe that. And like, it's just certain things that you just pray about and see it come to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always told myself, if I can be able to work with this person, we can evolve each other into a whole different level in which we
Thanks.
previously thought. So man, gold print, man.
Yeah,
It's the future, man.
it's time.
It's the future. Like I said, I always believe in timing, and I feel like I told myself, like, man, this is perfect time. So like, we have laid out the foundation, and now we just gotta do the groundwork and build from there, man.
Yeah.
We just gotta build from there. And like I told you before, man, the future, it's exciting, man.
Most definitely.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, before we get on down, man, I'm gonna ask you 2 last questions.
What you got?
2 last questions, man. I'm gonna ask you this. Where do you see yourself musically
Okay.
in the next 5 years?
Musically. Definitely gonna be self-sufficient, meaning financially nowhere near where I am right now, to a place where the music that we produce and put out, it'll be heard by the masses, and then we'll be traveling and touring and doing everything that was supposed to be happening, you know. So I do know for a fact we'll be continuing what we're doing now at a much higher level.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we won't be having to worry about jobs and, you know, you laughed at that. You get what I'm saying?
I understand.
That's
man.
what it is.
That's the goal.
Yeah, we gonna live from what we supposed to be doing. Yeah, so 5 years for sure. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, this last question, that's kind of borderline the same question I just asked you. Where do you see yourself, like, evolving in the next 5 years as a man? Like, where do you see yourself as a man in the next 5 years?
All right. You and possibly, I say, I don't want to put a number on it, it's gonna be you and a select few other people who will know who I am and where I am. If that make any sense. I won't be living anywhere close to where anybody can find me. I won't have social media.
I understand, man.
I'm gonna have an old man flip phone that can call, and I'm gonna have a short list of contacts that the people that I work with, we making a difference in the world. But aside from that, it's gonna be hard to find me in 5 years. Yeah, I promise you that.
Completely, man. I understand completely, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like I said, this is first world problems, man.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in what we doing. I believe the words that you speak, and I know that the action's gonna reciprocate above all of everything. And like, what my whole thing is, like, you know me, like I want to put people in a better position, and that's always been my thing, man. I feel like I've done a good job so far.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, we got so far to go.
That's right.
And I feel like we're gonna get there, man. We're
100%.
gonna get there. As long as we trust in God,
Yes,
trust in ourselves,
yes, sir.
trust in the work that we're doing,
Yes, sir.
and reciprocate that quality to the world, man, we gonna get there. Soon.
Facts.
ASAP.
Facts.
Expeditiously. We gonna get there, man. But yeah, man. This board, I'm trying to get a dub, trying to get a win.
See, you said the perfect word, trying.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Cause it ain't gonna happen.
I'm finna get one, man. But yeah, man, let's get this chess game going. Let me shake hands one more time.
First move on you.
Absolutely, man. And let's begin, man.